You know things, I know some too. Sit right down, the Femsplain 'em to you. If there's a thing you wanna explain, these two feminists can entertain. Nerdy stuff, sexy stuff, so much to know. Tune in for the Femsplained Show.
Femsplained!
Good morning.
Good morning.
This is
Recording.
my favorite way to wake up.
Yeah, it's a really good one. Do you have coffee or tea?
I have tea.
Good. I have a big chunk of coffee cup.
Oh, I thought you were saying you have a big chunk of coffee. Like,
big chunk of
gross.
coffee.
I have to fully not do coffee. I think it makes me a bad person.
It makes you a bad person.
I think it.
In what way?
I think it even in small amounts, I think it triggers my anxiety enough that my irritability anxiety symptom really comes out, and I think that it makes me really grouchy because my nervous system is just frayed and intolerant.
I am sure that is not as bad as you say, but I do know that feeling.
Yeah.
Because I can't stop, but I do drink the coffee, and it does make me feel like my heart's trying to escape.
Yeah. I'll get sometimes a beautiful moment of creative clarity and drive with coffee that's nice. But yeah, I think it makes me grumpy.
Yeah. Well, then I'm glad you're not drinking it, because I am excited to record this podcast with you, which is what we're doing today.
It is. Yes.
Yay.
We haven't recorded in a minute.
Yeah, it's been a minute. We recorded our 50th episode not terribly too long ago, and then planned a big celebration around it, which was last night, and it was wonderful and lovely.
It filled my cup in a really big way.
Yeah, same.
Hopefully our wonderful guests who joined us have somewhat similar feelings. I think they enjoyed themselves, but I would love it if they also had cup fillage.
I hope so. I think that is the general feedback. But yes, so we, to celebrate 50 episodes of Femsplained, we had a live stream fundraiser for Fair Fight, which is Stacey Abrams' PAC for fair election and increasing voter turnout. And it was a lovely time. It was very fun. We invited our previous guests who've come onto Femsplained to come back and play games with us and have fun with us, and miraculously they all said yes, and lots of cool companies donated prizes, which really incentivized people to donate, because we raised $1,115 in total, and that was wonderful.
I'm really proud of that.
I know, me too.
Half of that came from the damsels, which does not, to me, diminish my pride, but I just think that that's a significant enough number that I wanted to shout that out.
Yes, for sure. The biggest donation for sure was the Damsels of Dorkington donated that big chunk of money, and that was wonderful. And I just, I was thinking about this morning, and I don't know if you probably understand this experience, but one of the things that I lamented so often when I was at my most paycheck to paycheck or paycheck to slightly after my last paycheck kind of living situation was that you don't get the opportunity to be charitable, and you always want to, because there are so many, awful things happening in the world, and that's just not an opportunity when you don't have expendable income. And and just being able to do something that facilitates charity is a huge deal.
Yeah, I have a weird amount of feelings about this because when I first moved to Oregon and I couldn't get a job, I was like, I'll just get a master's in nonprofit management because there's more nonprofits per capita out here, and I can get some kind of job security, administrative, project management, fill my cup job with this master's degree. And after probably 2 terms in the program, I switched out of it because the culture in the United States and sort of the financial structuring around fundraising, charity, philanthropy, nonprofits is so unsettling to me. Not in like a corruption way. You know, I think people really give nonprofits way too much shit for having overhead costs,
I'm
which
sure
they
you're
do.
right. Yeah.
But just sort of, you know, starting with origins and philanthropy and how white supremacist this whole idea of philanthropy is, and elitist, and the fact that, you know, the expectation is on people who hoard wealth to help make up the gaps that the government doesn't cover because those people don't pay their taxes in the first place.
Right.
So they get to like
it's
strategically
wild.
use the money they should be paying taxes in ways that like is self-satisfying for them.
And that gives them positive attention in the media and things. Yeah, that's wild.
Right. And it turns into a hobby because there's so much, like the galas, the fundraisers, the parties, like trying to court the money away from these people to pay for the things that the government should be able to provide in the first place. Like, it just is gross. So I love nonprofits. Obviously, I love the causes. I love that people are barely making enough. Well, no, I should correct that.
You don't
I love
that
the people who are willing to be so self-sacrificing for causes, but
it shouldn't be.
No.
It just shouldn't be. I know.
Yeah. And like large donor management is like, you have to buy these people so many meals to butter them up to make this big ask for big checks. Like, there's this whole theory of approach to large donor fundraising that is just so off-putting.
Yeah.
Anyway,
100%. I don't know like the inside of it that well, but it all makes sense to me just based on my
So I think where I was going with that is that I really appreciate that it feels like, because of modern technology, people who live paycheck to paycheck more so, like us, are able to organize and kind of collect our contributions together in fun ways, because we've been left out of being targeted for fundraising because we're not billionaires.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of like nice to be able to participate in that and feel like you're making more of an impact if you can only give $5. You know, 20 of us putting our $5 together feels a little bit more like we accomplished something together, I think, as a community.
For sure. Yeah. I'm really excited that that we got, that big donation from the damsels, which was really helpful. But I was really happily surprised to go look back and see that the other half of that was made up of like a lot of small donations. It does actually make it feel like we came together as a community, which was nice.
Yeah. So that's my soapbox.
Yeah, it's a good one. Sturdy soapbox.
It feels pretty sturdy. I'm kind of like bouncing on it.
And I do feel like it ties into our topic, which we cannot talk about yet, in a very oddly specific way.
I guess it does.
Before that, besides our big Femsplained 50th episode celebration, has nerd culture done anything for you recently besides that?
I feel like nerd culture has done quite a bit for me recently, but since we last recorded, I've had the opportunity to be in more like live streams and stuff like that, which have been fundraising, have been charity fundraising.
Yeah,
it's all tied together.
Well, tis the season,
tis
right?
The season.
It's like, it's that season. Yeah.
It's just nice because I think that a big part of me has wanted to be in a campaign, a streamed campaign for a little while now. I'd like to put myself out there more, and I'd like to play, and I think it's fun to engage in that way. But I don't think I necessarily am genuinely able to commit to that consistently with just my lifestyle. And so my lifestyle, having a baby, it's not like I'm like jet setting. But so it's been really nice to have some of these one shots. So I did a 40K TTRPG one shot.
I am not over the fact that you played in a 40K tabletop game. Not over it. Avalon and I both have a intimate sordid history with the Warhammer franchise and its fans.
Yeah. So, which I think you could reference in one of our earliest episodes.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So I definitely, so it was Fuck Cancer Roll Dice, which I am new enough that I wasn't really familiar with it from previous years. And then once I was in that Discord, I was in such fancy company that I was just really grateful to be there. Although my personal playstyle is maybe not super compatible with the 40K game's crunchiness.
Yeah, it's crunchy, right? Yeah.
I think it's by far the crunchiest thing I've ever seen. So
I'm sure. I mean, I had an awareness that there was a RPG version of the Warhammer world out there, but I never hear about it. Like I never hear about it being played, and for such a big franchise, I'm surprised that I never hear about it being played. And that to me is like, it's probably because it is the crunchiest.
I'm surprised that, because to me it seems like if you're already willing to be like full on 40K, then I don't know, you're used to a level of crunchiness, certainly. Yes. So I'm surprised that those people aren't playing it more. Maybe it might be newish. I'm not actually sure.
I don't know.
But we have a friend who plays a lot of 5th edition, who is a self-proclaimed rules lawyer and who is very into 40K minis. And his reaction to me playing was like, "Ooh, I heard that's a rough system."
Oh, shit.
So I thought that was pretty validating. But
that's really funny.
But I will say that the storyteller GM, I think, kind of like helped us out quite a bit by like washing over some of the crunchiness, which is good for a one shot.
That's nice. I mean, for a one shot, that's a nice thing to do because you know, it's really about the experience, and you aren't committing to some sort of long-term campaign where it's important that you have everything nailed down. I think that's nice. Yeah.
So it ended up definitely being a positive experience, even though I was very intimidated by the core rulebook at first. But yeah. So and other things as well. I got my iHunt swag today, and I was so excited. I don't know if you've...
What did you get?
I think that all of us who participated in that iHunt game have a treat on the way.
Oh, I don't think I gave anybody my information, so probably
Diana,
not me. But what did you get?
It's an enamel pin and a cool sticker.
Oh, I love enamel pins.
I know, you really fucked
They're
up.
all over me.
And this is cool, and it's a pretty big one, and it's the like sort of smiley face logo that they have. Mm-hmm. So I'm really excited about it.
Oh, that's cool.
So that's something that Nerd Culture has done for me as well.
That's great. Nerd Culture has been mean to me.
Really?
I have a lot of feelings. So it's been a rough Dragon Age Day this year.
Can you pause and tell me what Dragon Age Day is and why it has a day?
So Dragon Age Day, it's just the anniversary of the first game's release. And the fandom has for years decided to unofficially organize and celebrate it. And this is something that started, on Tumblr as just like fans sharing all of their fanfic and fan art and theories and cosplays and stuff like that every year on the anniversary of the first game. But, eventually it got so big and got recognized by some of the voice actors, some of the writers, similarly to that, like, Dorian Pavas Born Perfect project that we did years ago, it got noticed. And since it was for charity, I think that even though it is quote unquote unofficially Dragon Age Day in the title, it's pretty official. Like head developers, head writers participate. Sumali, who does the voice of the Inquisitor and was on Critical Role, she participates. And like lots of other voice actors participate. It's a lovely experience. It's basically just a loving day of charity, but also just everybody voicing how much they love this IP, this nice little world. Anyway, this year,
as a record scratches, yeah.
Okay. So for some background, this year has already been kind of rough. Like at the earlier start of the year, a few people that were historically writers of beloved characters from the series and on the team in general announced that they had left BioWare. And that felt kind of like ominous. I mean, this game, I guess, obviously game developers and the writers are all an important part of the machine, but because of the fact that these games are so story driven, having beloved character writers leave feels like a worrying thing to see, because we care so much about how story driven the next game is going to be. So a couple of writers dropped off of the project, and then there was mostly positive news like that all came out. I mean, there was a teaser trailer dropped, announcements coming about confirming that there is going to be a game for, lots of overall positive news. And then on the actual anniversary of the series, on Dragon Age Day, like first thing in the morning, like 2 of the 3 last remaining head OG writers of the series announced on the BioWare website that they are leaving BioWare, totally out of the blue. Like, these are people who were within recent weeks tweeting about the upcoming game and stuff. So it's like, it felt very abrupt, felt very weird. So this might be the whole podcast, but but so that happened. And then, so the voice actor that plays Cullen throughout the series, and that used to play Anders in some earlier game, he has recently, for a while, he had disappeared. Everybody was like, oh, maybe he's dead somewhere. And then he came back to Twitter and was like, no, I wasn't dead. I just hate trans people. Yeah. And basically like started tweeting conservative conspiracy theories, hateful kinds of things, all sorts of bigotry. And so at the time, like, the lead writer was like, well, we don't support that at Dragon Age, just so everyone knows, we do not support that. And he was like, oh, I'm being canceled by Dragon Age. Dragon Age is trying to cancel me. Everybody was like, oh God. So when this writer announced that they were stepping down, he publicly commented like, good, you were ruining the series. Now the fans are gonna be the fans were being done a disservice, and this is so good for Dragon Age and for BioWare and for the fans and blah blah blah.
Wow.
And
that is in such terrible taste on top of everything else.
Such terrible taste. And then it gets worse. And then he went live on YouTube in character as the character he plays in the series, talking as if he were that character, saying stuff like all lives matter, saying that cancel culture is a curse, and like I mean seriously, like the most diving off of the deep end that could be done. He did it in like a half an hour. And obviously, like, BioWare is there's no way they would ever use their IP to basically
right.
say, yeah, I mean, horrendous. So
I feel like also that's got to be some kind of copyright violation or yeah.
So totally wild. I have no idea like what is happening anymore with this franchise, and I feel really sad about it, and also confused, and also just like bewildered by the actions of this one strange man.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's been a wild ride.
I wonder if he disappeared for a while because he is struggling with something.
I'm sure he's struggling with something, but what he's struggling with is badness. Being a bad person. Yeah. And I think that one of the writers hit the nail on the head and said that this is probably a public audition for some company that is not good. Like, you know, the way that all the conservative pundits get their jobs now is by like exploding their regular careers.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that this is one of those public auditions to be, you know, the Tommy Lauren of gaming or whatever.
Oh God, does that mean that there's like a game or show or something?
I don't know.
Coming
Maybe
out
he'll get hired by Cyberpunk. I don't know. It's hard to say. Yeah.
Fascinating.
Anyway,
well, I'm so sorry, because how many years have you sunk into the anticipation of this next iteration of this game?
It's I don't know. It's so much of my life. And it's so silly. I mean, obviously, I still think it's going to be fine. Patrick Weeks and Karen Weeks are still on the team. And they have made very like positive, hopeful posts about things.
But you know, there's stuff that we don't know that's causing people to leave.
I know. That's what it. I can't even imagine what it is, but I know that it's bad.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna hold my breath and hope that something positive does come from it. But yeah, it's been wild.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry to everybody who loves that franchise, who has been negatively impacted. That totally sucks.
Yeah.
Especially,
yeah.
I mean, it's the same year as JK going all out. Like,
I know.
That
and
sucks.
It's also, it's just a particular slap in the face because of the fact that Dragon Age is one of like the few games like ever that I've played that has a speaking trans character in it. Like, I just feel like there's so little smidgens of that representation out there in games. And then for like the one franchise to be like getting blown up by this one vocal transphobe is particularly ugly.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, fuck nerd culture.
Fuck nerd culture today. No, all right. So let's get to the topic, because I actually do want to talk about it, even though I'm fired up about Dragon Age.
I know. I think we clearly are overdue to talk.
we do.
Yeah.
And so, but before we do, we definitely have to get a man in here to talk about it, because I know his is going to be a good Mansplain Minute for this one in particular. For sure. So take it away, Francis.
In a Mansplain Minute. Everything's explained in a Mansplain Minute. Tell the ladies what to say in a Mansplain Minute. Putting several minutes on the man watch and go. Muppet Christmas Carol.
couple of years ago when Femsplained got started, I put it out there to Avalon and Diana that as much as I like playing this role as the mansplainer, it might be nice once, just once, to be a guest on the show. I know that's not really what Femsplained is about, but maybe for my birthday, which is Christmas. And back then I told them that if there's one thing I'd love to explain more than anything in the world, it's Muppet Christmas Carol, my favorite Christmas movie, nay, one of my favorite movies of all time. Diana looked at me and said, yeah, Avalon and I should do an episode about Muppet Christmas Carol. And that was that. And I guess this week was that episode. No one told me in advance or anything. I was just kind of presented with the topic after the episode was recorded and told to give it a minute. Well, guess what? It's my birthday this month, so I'm not going to do just a minute on Muppet Christmas Carol. I'm going to do as many damn minutes as I would like, because there's nothing better than Muppet Christmas Carol. Michael Caine is an inspiration. There have been so many iterations of A Christmas Carol. Good, bad, somewhere in between. I've got one with Henry Winkler. Haven't watched it yet, but I have it. But no one in the history of film has come close to capturing the magic of the Charles Dickens novella A Christmas Carol than Michael Caine as Scrooge. And he's acting alongside Muppets. He's not even acting with real people, and he's still giving it an Oscar-worthy go. You see, to get Scrooge right is such a delicate dance. If he transitions too soon, you don't get a sense of the gravity of his change of heart. But if he transitions too late in the game with just the Ghost of Christmas Future, it feels like he's scared into it. And therefore the transition doesn't feel like it'll stick. It feels inauthentic. And Michael Caine, he doesn't just do the delicate dance, he waltzes. He tangos. He makes you believe that he is Ebenezer Scrooge. Part of what makes that transition so believable is the emotional song that comes at the midpoint of the film, When Love Is Gone, which was cut from the theatrical release because Disney felt it slowed the film down and the kids wouldn't be down with it, too sad, too drawn out. But when Brian Henson found out that they had cut it, he was furious, because like me, he believed that it was a real linchpin of Scrooge's transition. And so he insisted that it be re-included in the VHS release, which is the version I saw when I was a kid. And then years later, Disney removed it again from all of the DVD releases and the streaming releases. So the only way you can really watch Muppet Christmas Carol in its purest form is on VHS, which is the only reason I own a VCR, to watch Muppet Christmas Carol as it is intended to be seen. On par with Michael Caine's performance is the performance of a puppet, the Ghost of Christmas Present. Now, the Ghost of Christmas Present, just like Scrooge, so hard to get right. He can't be too mean, he can't be too nice, he can't be too scary, he can't be too silly. This Ghost of Christmas Present is the Ghost of Christmas Present by which all other Ghosts of Christmas Present should be modeled. And I haven't even gotten into the soundtrack, Gonzo as the omniscient narrator, the fourth wall breaking, the humor, the heart, Kermit. But the show is called Femsplained. And as has been made perfectly clear, I'm not welcome here. Not even on my birthday. Except as a clown, a jester, a foil for the heroes of our story. So I guess I'll have to save my detailed and nuanced take on this crucial part of my childhood for another podcast. Merry birthday. This has been your Mansplain 3 minutes and 48 seconds.
Well, we're back, and I'm healed from my trauma, and we're going to talk about something nice and joyful, which is the Muppet Christmas Carol.
We are going to talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
I've been seeing it around a lot more this year.
You think so?
Yeah.
I have been wondering because you are now I have no shame for any of us rewatching movies from our childhood and finding genuine joy in them. I think that that is lovely and wonderful. But you are now a part of the demographic that is actually acceptable to be watching these movies again because you have a baby. Have you been excited to watch children's movies or holiday movies, things that are...
I think that I will be next year. I think he's too young.
Right. He's not really reacting.
He's not reacting. I don't think he knows the difference between... Because he only meets people via Zoom now. I don't know if he knows the difference between a movie and a conversation.
It's like Uncle Michael Caine is in the TV right now.
I do think, because I will often put like Critical Role on during the day, and because of the framed structure of them all, I wonder sometimes if he thinks that like Matt Mercer is like when he's talking to his grandpa.
Like, oh my God, I did not even think about,
because they're looking directly at you and sort of speaking fairly conversationally.
And they're in
the little boxes.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so I think that Robin might think Matt Mercer is his relative, but anyway, yeah, I think that I'm also in a weird zone still of like, what's too much screen time? Like, what's my parenting style gonna be? You know, and so many things are like, a baby should never even see a screen.
Oh my God.
So part of me wants to, you know, start traditions and be nostalgic and expose him to things that were important to me personally. But part of me is also like guilty while I'm doing it. Like, am I rotting him? So
I'm sure.
I think
by
next,
exactly what you need.
By next year, I'll be, I think, probably more confident in what screen time is, and he'll actually know what's going on.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
Well, so the Muppet Christmas Carol is, it's, you know, one of the classic Muppet movies from the early 90s that I think that they only did a couple of these where they remade like an existing story with the Muppets. And
is it just that and Treasure Island? Is there another one?
It's that and Treasure Island.
Yeah, good. Both were good.
And they're both phenomenal.
Yes.
I do want to say that in preparation for this, I just pulled up the Google page for Muppet Christmas Carol to make sure that I knew what I was talking about. And I'm very disturbed to see that it is playing in theaters right now.
Oh.
Which I just like, it makes me upset at everyone. But anyway.
Yeah.
But it is like an actual wonderful retelling of the story, A Christmas Carol. But, you know, characterized through the personalities of the Muppets in a really interesting way. And I have like, in my brain, like, this is the canon story of A Christmas Carol. Like, I know that I had seen other adaptations of it and read it, but like, this is the way that it's sunk into my brain.
For sure. I think what makes it stronger than any of the other, at least film versions, is that the narrator is a character. Mm-hmm. Because I think that Charles Dickens as a narrator has such a strong voice that it is nice to see that voice personified in the movie, because you lose it otherwise. Yeah. That might be me overthinking Muppet Christmas Carol.
I think that's totally valid. And you know, and of course, like the grounding character of Rizzo the Rat to bring Charles Dickens down a peg.
Yes, exactly. I don't know.
You need both.
Yeah. I'm overthinking my use of the word personified to describe a Muppet, but
I mean, they're like people to me. Have you ever seen that one like off-camera video of Kermit the Frog like setting up to ride a bike?
No.
And like there's just like a clip of them setting him up on the bike. And even though you see the puppeteer set him up and then walk away, as soon as he walks away, to me, I'm like, that's Kermit. That's a real frog.
He's about to ride
that bike. I can't get over it.
I think that all of the Muppets are cast very well, if you will. I mean, so they've got like a certain number of Muppets to work with. And I think that the roles that they chose for them, in some cases, you know, it could have been Charles Dickens could have been Fozzie, you know.
No.
They made good choices.
They made good choices. Yeah. Fozzie Bear being old Fezziwig is literally, Fezziwig is like so not, to me, because of how well Fozzie Bear portrays old Fezziwig, it makes Fezziwig a more important character than I think he's supposed to be.
I think you're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of that version. I don't necessarily think that Scrooge couldn't have been a different person, though.
This is weird because I have heard this same opinion from other people.
Yeah.
I recently brought up this movie in my Discord, and people were like, "Great movie. Michael Caine was only okay though." And I'm like, "What? What?" Like
I think he was good, but I think it could have been a lot of British men, and it would have been the same movie. Like, to me, Patrick Stewart would have been better.
He doesn't look grumpy enough for me. He looks so he just
Well, because I think he plays that role. I think there is another version of it, sans Muppets, that he plays that role.
Yeah, I don't even know about that.
And I think in my memory, I marry those two movies together sometimes.
I think that
I don't even know about that.
I don't even know about that. I don't know about other versions of the Christmas Carol. I have to think about that because I think he genuinely does a great job, but I don't know if maybe I'm just emotionally attached.
I think he does a solid job. I just think it could have been anybody.
I guess. I think, okay, so something interesting about this movie is that we do have a couple of new Muppets that are introduced that are just for this movie. Mm-hmm. So like you have your classics and they all get cast in certain roles, like like the two old guys get cast as Marley and Marley, which was a great choice to make them
thank you for reminding me that I did a burlesque number to Marley and Marley.
What?
Celeste and I did it.
Did you have chains?
We did.
Oh my God.
Yeah. We had chains and little bald caps. And it was pretty much just a lip sync. It wasn't really a burlesque, but we did the woo with the chains.
Oh my God. Brilliant. I just think that whole move of casting and doing two Marley brothers, because they're the grumpiest people in the Muppet universe. So, making them into, the dead old rich guy, character was perfect.
I agree.
But so you had all these, known classic Muppets being cast as characters. And then you had the 3 new Muppets that were made to be the ghosts of Christmas past, present, and future. And they were standalone Muppets, and I think they were all I have opinions because I think that we're supposed to be the most afraid of Christmas future, who looks like death and has the big robe.
No, maybe Christmas supposed to past is fucked.
Is the scariest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, I would argue that of the ghosts, 2 are puppets and 1 is a Muppet.
Explain.
So, past is somewhere in the middle to me, but I would say past is a very scary, fucked up puppet that lacks the sort of personality, the charisma, the connectedness that you might assume from a Muppet. Like, you don't see the Ghost of Christmas Past, like, coming onto the Muppet Show and doing a cameo and a bit, right? And then the Ghost of Christmas Future is just a cloak. It's just a spooky cloak. But Ghost of Christmas Present might as well be, like, part of the gang, full-on canonical Muppet.
Yeah, absolutely. I actually wonder if that Muppet has ever been reused because
he should be. I can't think of a time, but what he represents with like the jolliness and the size and the food and the sort of calling you out directness, I think could fit into a lot of different settings. But to your point, Ghost of Christmas Past, fucked up.
terrifying.
So
Absolutely
scary.
terrifying. Hits the uncanny valley
Yeah.
in at its lowest point.
Yeah. And the voice also really haunting.
Mm-hmm.
Don't think it's meant
Yeah.
to be.
I don't know. Maybe but I was scared of that Muppet as a kid, and
Yeah.
I am displeased by it now.
Yeah.
I will say also point about that movie. I don't know, spoilers for anybody.
No.
No.
A Christmas Carol is beyond
It's
spoiler warnings, yes.
But with The Ghost of Christmas Present, they also age him as that song is progressing, which is brilliant because he cannot like leave the present moment. He I thought that was so good.
Although
and
I'd
it's
like
still
to
so
have
good.
seen him start as a baby if they were going to really lean into that.
Make the beginning of that scene very difficult. Michael Caine's like, I don't understand. What do you want from me?
But I would like to see a baby version of that guy.
That would be really good. So I feel like probably the oddest choice is making Miss Piggy and Kermit like the happy, normal, well-adjusted family couple. Just because in every other Muppet movie scenario, they are the absolute definition of a toxic, mutually abusive relationship.
First of all, I don't know about mutually.
Well, I think that Kermit is like the glutton that like enables Miss Piggy's abuse.
I don't know, it feels a little victim blaming to me.
Maybe,
But
I'll check myself
and then I will
on that.
also push back and say, I don't know how healthy their marriage is in this movie either.
That's fair. That's very fair.
But the older I get, the more I strongly relate to Miss Piggy in this movie. Last time I watched it, I was like, yeah, you need to fucking yell at Kermit right now.
Yeah. I don't disagree. I don't disagree, which I think it's like it's definitely a different portrayal of them than in other movies, I think.
Well, and I just like Kermit is being so naive. And I don't really think anybody should be defending Scrooge.
No,
and he's like
for sure
bringing up their kids to take a lot of abuse and be taken advantage of by horrible bosses. Like Miss Piggy needs to step in, and she
that's
does.
Like it's kind of gross because like I think that in the story, like that's why we're supposed to think that family is the center, the moral center of the movie, is because they still think everyone's a good person even when they're not, and that's like just not
right.
That's not the definition of goodness. Like I think that what's his face, the nephew. I was like, I like their approach. It's like, yeah, well, we'll invite you, and when you turn us down like an asshole, we're just gonna have a drinking game where we mock you.
It's funny because I think that the nephew character is more important in other versions of it. Like I'm a big fan of Scrooged as
yeah.
And I like. And it's the same making fun of him at a party approach. But the nephew feels more important to me, or at least equally important maybe to the Tiny Tim storyline. Whereas in Muppet Christmas Carol, I feel like the nephew's whole thing is kind of an afterthought. And it might just be because he's not a puppet.
Yes. Yes. That's another thing that is a little interesting to me, is that in other Muppet movies there is like one human character, and in Muppet Christmas Carol and Muppet Treasure Island there's more than one, but even in Muppet Treasure Island there's only two.
Well, no, because I would say there's more in a lot of them because they're interfacing with the real world. Like Muppets Take Manhattan, just the Muppets in Manhattan.
That's true. That's true. What am I thinking of? I
I think you're thinking of these, but there's just more people than you remember.
Yeah. There's just like I also just didn't like the other movies. I didn't like Muppets Take Manhattan.
I liked the caper because Miss Piggy was like pretty good in it.
Yeah.
I might really like Miss Piggy.
I think you do.
I didn't realize that. I think when I was a kid, I thought she was mean, and now I'm realizing that I am Miss Piggy.
Does that make me Kermit or who?
Kermit's really the only one she interfaces with, I feel like.
Yeah, that's very true.
Does she think she's better than them?
She
is.
Yes, yeah. Did you watch that show that was on briefly that was like the Muppets but adults, and there's like lots of sex humor and stuff like that?
No. Wasn't that a movie? It was a show.
It was a show.
No.
I watched it, but now I don't remember the details. But it was like lots of adult rated humor in it. And Miss Piggy is like, sleeping with people at the office or whatever.
I've never heard of this. That's very funny.
Yeah. It's pretty good, actually.
Yeah, I have not seen that. I would really like to. I haven't seen the more recent one with that guy from So I Met Your Mother.
Yes. That it was okay. It was pretty okay.
All right.
Yeah, that's how I feel.
I don't know why they're not doing more like adaptation of fictional classics, because that's clearly their bread and butter.
It's so good to me.
Where's the Neverland one? If we're just doing public domain stuff. All right, cast it.
Okay, yeah. I'm thinking right now.
Okay.
So Peter Pan with the Muppets. So we got. I think for sure Gonzo has got to be Peter Pan.
No, Peter Pan's the main character.
But I think that I feel like because Gonzo, nobody knows what he is. And like he's got like this kind of mysterious he came from another world or whatever is his backstory, I think. I can't think of who else could get away with being Peter Pan. Miss Piggy would be Wendy.
Who's the person?
The person.
I thought the person would be Wendy.
Ooh. No, the person would be Captain Hook.
No.
And then all the pirates would be Muppets.
That's just Muppet Treasure Island.
Yeah, it's just Muppet Treasure. So Tim Curry is Captain Hook, and all of the Muppets.
I'd watch that too.
The pirates. I would absolutely watch that.
I got no problem with that.
Just kept everything the same.
Yeah, you could even keep. Oh God, what's his name? John. What the hell is the name of the main character in Muppet Treasure Island?
Jim.
Jim. Yeah, Jim could be Peter, and then everybody else could be Muppets.
A human Peter.
A human Peter. A human Hook. Everyone else is a Muppet.
But then, all right, the problem with that is that then there has to be a weird, like, pseudo romance-ish that happens between a human and a Muppet. And I don't think we do that.
I think we do that when it's adults for sure, but maybe not when it's kids.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
I don't know why either. But I feel like there's a rule somewhere that we can't do it.
Because Miss Piggy and Tim Curry in Muppet Treasure Island.
They do. They have a sexual past.
Yeah. Or they have a sexual past.
They have a sexual past. I think because I mean, it's pretty explicit. It's framed that way.
It is framed that way. Yeah, we watched it pretty recently. I was a bit surprised.
Yeah. I mean, I don't blame Miss Piggy. I mean, he was a looker.
Yeah, Jesus.
Mm-hmm. So let's see. I think What other stories should they tell through the Muppets?
I mean, I do think it has to be public domain.
Sure.
I
Yeah.
would say like Wizard of Oz, but I'm so over that. I don't think I was ever that into it, but it's
Yeah.
been done a bit much for me. Although it lends itself pretty easily.
Yeah.
Okay.
What?
Wizard of Oz. Dorothy's
Yeah.
the person.
Dorothy's definitely the person.
The wizard is Fozzie Bear.
Yes, that's fucking perfect. That's absolutely perfect.
I'm gonna
I
say
love
maybe
that so
Gonzo
much.
is the hot air balloon guy, or is that the same
Yes.
person? No, that might be
it's
the.
played. It in the movie. It's played by the same person, but it's not the same person.
Okay.
Yeah. And then, oh no, that's not.
Oh
true.
no,
The hot air
Gonzo
balloon
maybe.
guy is the wizard.
Yeah. Okay, Gonzo would be
No,
better suited as one of the three.
Yeah, Gonzo would be the scarecrow. I think.
The no brain.
No brain.
Okay. And he's got like
Uh,
rats on him,
Yeah.
and that's where Rizzo is.
Yeah, because Rizzo's got to be there. Let's see. Tin Man.
I think Tin Man would maybe be Kermit, not because Kermit is heartless, but because I feel like Dorothy and the Tin Man are very. I don't know. I feel like they have.
No, it's Scarecrow. Scarecrow
Oh.
is the one that she has the closest.
She is
with.
the closest. Okay.
All right. So Tin Man and Cowardly Lion is Kermit, because Kermit's always good at making the scared face.
No, well, yeah,
He
But-
always
but the lion sucks.
the lion does not suck.
Yeah, Kermit is totally wasted on the lion.
Hang on. I'm gonna look
Maybe-
at pictures of Muppets.
Well, I like the idea of Kermit being the good witch and Miss Piggy being the bad witch, because I like the idea of them interacting at some point where Kermit does the scared face.
Yeah.
But I don't know that necessarily makes sense.
Oh, I know who would be the Tin Man.
Who?
So much. Oh God, what is his name?
I don't know. I'm on the edge of my
Sam
seat, though.
Eagle. Sam Eagle would be the Tin Man.
Eagle.
Because he's so stoic
Yeah,
and so
I do
and
like Sam
he
Eagle.
thinks he's heartless, but he would ultimately
He would
do
be
the
good.
right thing, and it
Yeah.
would be cute.
All right, who the hell is the lion? Honestly, it's Fozzie is the problem.
It can't be Fozzie, because you're so right about Fozzie needing to be the man behind the curtain.
Okay, what if Fozzie was the lion and instead the man behind the curtain was the men behind the curtain?
And
It
was,
was
Statler and Waldorf.
Waldorf, yeah. And they're just negging. They just are giant negging heads.
Oh man. Oh, for that scene alone, it would be pretty good.
Oh.
All right, you sold me on
But we
this.
don't have Kermit in any of the roles.
I think, could Kermit be the Scarecrow?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Kermit could be the Scarecrow.
Yeah. Well, then where's Gonzo?
Gonzo
Is the
could
good
be like the
witch.
head of the flying monkeys.
No, Gonzo's the good witch. Then
The good witch? Oh.
I don't
Wait,
know.
no. All right, so wait, hang on. I'm getting way too
Yeah.
invested in this. Because how are we going to shoehorn in, like, it's very important that, like, Meep and whatever the other one's name is
Oh.
are shoehorned in. The
Yeah.
scientists.
They would be like maybe when they went to the Emerald City and there's like the guy at the door, or
Or they could
work for the Wicked Witch and they could
work
be
for the Wicked
they could be
Witch, yeah.
responsible for making the monkeys.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, very good. And then all of the apples that, like, they that like the trees throw at
God.
Dorothy would be little Muppets, and they would sing a song. It would be really
Yeah.
good.
And then the Swedish chef would be like, dorka dorka,
Yeah.
with the
Yeah,
apples.
like picking them up off the ground later and like chopping them up into a salad.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Fantastic. Good. Casted. All right. Make
Done.
it happen.
Make
Good,
it happen.
done.
Somebody produce it.
Yeah.
I saw that there's that Patreon grant that Ginny D is doing.
Yeah. I'll call up
Make
Ginny
a
D and I'll
pitch.
say, Ginny, here's my 60-second pitch. It is the Muppets. I think 10K is enough for me to get the Muppets on board for this.
Well, they don't have to eat.
Thank you. That's true. Yeah.
Oh, wait, but we need to cast Dorothy as a human.
Oh, right. No, that is important. What about what's her face? Who's like all big-eyed, big doe-eyed from How I Met Your Mother? She
Too
plays the
old.
mother. What?
Too old.
She doesn't. Isn't? I don't know.
I don't know. I
concept
think
of
she's
age.
probably in her mid to late 30s. But I
right,
think
yeah,
it's supposed to be a teenager.
It is,
I guess
but
I don't
wasn't-
know any teenagers, so why?
Yeah. I feel like that. I don't know. I don't know any actors anymore.
The Flying Monkeys, though, maybe could be like, well, like Animal, but there's only one.
Yeah, Animal. I mean,
I like it when the band is there. I like that band a lot.
the band has to be there, but the band doesn't need to make sense. They can, they could just be. I mean, in Muppet Treasure Island, the band was a part of the side plot where the rats were on a cruise ship.
But what a side plot.
What a side plot. Like Rizzo's running a racketeering,
So
money
good.
laundering cruise ship. Background of Muppet Treasure Island.
That might be almost the best part of that movie.
Yeah, it's very good. And it goes on
Yes.
for so long. It's very good.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. All right. Fuck,
So
Mary, kill.
no, hold on. Go back to the main topic.
Okay.
Here are things that I know about this movie because Francis is obsessed with it, and I don't know if he talked about it in his minute because he's probably going to really struggle to pick something to talk about. We're going to assume he's going to talk about that song.
Yeah.
There's a
The
song,
missing song.
in Muppet Christmas Carol that redeems, quote unquote, Michael Caine's humanity. I don't think that fits. I don't want to redeem Michael Caine's humanity. I think he's a real fucking creep in that scene.
Yeah.
And I gotta be honest with you, I think that song is boring. I don't like it. I hope he doesn't hear me until this podcast comes out because I'm really excited about it. I don't think it adds anything to his character to make us feel sorry for him that he actually loved his ex-girlfriend. It just...
It doesn't add anything for me. The only thing that it does by being removed is that it makes the end song out of context because the end song is a rephrasing of the earlier song.
That makes sense. Yeah.
The emotional point, you're supposed to see his lowest point, and then you're supposed to see him turning around.
Yeah.
And that, it is supposed to be an emotional hit, but they took out the first one. So now the end song is just an out of the blue, like.
And it's just like so delicate. And just that scene, it feels like that scene's for grown-ups, not for kids. Don't like it.
Got it.
Other thing that I learned via Francis that relates to the terrifying Christmas Past Muppet is that they filmed that Muppet like floating in like water and or baby oil, which is why it's so unnerving the way it moves, because it's actually filmed like underwater.
That makes a lot of sense
Which is
to me,
fucking
and I
terrifying.
don't like it.
And it's like blurry, I think, because there's oil involved in that process somehow. So I just wanted to throw those two things out there in case he doesn't say them.
Ew.
So the other thing is that terrifying ghost baby is like not only underwater, but also greasy.
Greasy. Ew. Well, I'm upset. Yeah, I'm upset.
All right, fuck, marry, kill.
Fuck, marry, kill the ghosts of Christmas past, present, and future.
Good one. Kill the baby.
Mm-hmm. Ew, Is it a baby? I don't think it's a baby.
No, I don't know why I started saying that. It's totally not a baby at all.
But it's just, I don't know.
It's just terrifying. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just terrifying.
So kill that thing. Marry present. I guess fuck future.
Yeah, for the thrill.
Yeah.
For the thrill of being that close to death.
Mostly just because, like, anything could be under there. I guess I'm saying that as a positive, but your face is definitely seeing that as a negative.
Yeah. I think that I would definitely kill past, fuck present, and I'm gonna marry future because I feel like that will shield me from mortality somehow.
That's a good rationale. I'm marrying present because of the unlimited food.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good reason for sure.
All right. Fuck, marry, kill. Kermit. Gonzo. No, well, I mean, as their like canon personalities.
As their canon personalities. Okay.
Yeah, which is kind of the same. Not just like the aesthetics of the lifeless puppet. Or I guess Gonzo. That's the trifecta, right? Or Gonzo, Fozzie, Kermit. Is that the trifecta?
Gonzo, Fozzie, Kermit. Yeah, I think so.
Both in and out of their roles. Let's say that.
Yeah. Kill Fozzie for sure.
Okay.
And because you know what, I also don't like old Fezziwig's, like what he's supposed to be like the good capitalist because he's rich but he's also like happy and likes Christmas. Like I don't know, that doesn't redeem you either.
Yeah. I think he's just drunk.
He's just really drunk. So definitely kill Fozzie Bear. I don't know. I guess fuck Gonzo because it's gonna be an experience, and marry Kermit because he seems the most stable.
Yeah, I'll say regular Muppets outside of the movie. Kill Fozzie, marry Kermit, fuck Gonzo. In the movie, I'm gonna marry Gonzo. I'm gonna marry Fozzie in the movie.
Marry old Fezziwig?
Yeah.
I mean, he's got a lot of money.
That's why.
Yeah.
And I think he's like, so he'd just be distracted all the time. I think he'd leave me alone, but he would be rich.
Yeah. There'd be a lot of parties.
Fuck Gonzo, kill Kermit. Yeah.
Oh, no.
What's his character's name? Tiny Tim's dad.
Yeah. Oh God.
God.
Crockett? What is it?
Yeah,
it's like
Cratchit.
Cratchit.
Crotchet. No, I'm gonna kill him because I don't think he has any self-respect.
Yeah, that's no self-respect. Time for you to go. Goodbye.
All right, we need Miss Piggy in there.
Yeah, we need Lady Muppets edition.
Well, it's really just Miss Piggy.
No, it's Miss Piggy. It's Janice. Is that her name?
Yes, because she's like Janis Joplin, but I just feel like she's a background character.
Yeah, there's not a lot of gender diversity in the Muppet cast.
Yeah,
now that I'm
fucked.
thinking about it, it's a real shame.
It is a real shame.
I'm pretty disappointed. Okay, so we can't really do all ladies Muppets like I thought we could, but we could do Miss Piggy. We could do meaner characters.
Yeah.
So Miss Piggy, the Waldorf and whatever his name is. Stadler. They are a package deal.
They are a package deal. Thank you for being on that page with me.
And Sam Eagle.
Kill Sam
I'm
Eagle.
going to come right out and say that I'm fucking Sam Eagle.
I thought it
Sam
was
Eagle
so
is hot.
obvious to kill Sam Eagle.
No, I think he's hot. I think that I was very much attracted to him as a kid.
Sam Eagle is a blind patriot.
I know, but but the eyebrows. They're
All right.
I don't want to marry him, but
Well, I'm going to fuck
gonna
Waldorf
get
and
some.
Stadler, not because I am at all attracted to them, but because there's two.
yeah.
So
Yeah,
that just seems
an
like it makes
experience.
sense. And
Yeah.
I'll kill Sam Eagle and I'll marry Miss Piggy, although I do not think that we would have a good marriage.
No, but I don't think I'd have a good marriage with any of these options. But I think Miss Piggy's would be the most bearable, just because like
I don't know. I'm really regretting that. I don't think that we would get along very well at all.
no. I think what I will do is I will fuck Sam Eagle, I will kill Miss Piggy, and I will marry the rich old guys. I feel like their time is almost up.
Good argument. Okay, marry them.
They're
Yeah, marry them, fuck Miss Piggy, kill Sam Eagle for me.
Yeah.
Wow, this one's been
Okay.
hard. This
I
whole
know.
FMK episode has been, I've had to think about it more than any other episode.
I know. We usually have our answers so right out the bat. But I think that we've put a lot of thought into this, and
Yeah.
so I think that we're happy with our answers.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
What are you doing after this?
I really gotta pee.
Good. Okay.
And then I'm just gonna have some breakfast and hang out with Robin. And I can't think of anything else. Oh, maybe decorate our Christmas tree.
Yay. Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
I like that.
Same. What are you gonna do?
I am still going to do a Dragon Age Day stream.
Okay. Good for you.
Later today. We're still raising money for the NAACP, so
Double good
that's
for you.
Double good. And that's it.
That's a lot. What are you gonna eat? What are you gonna eat today?
There's some eggs over there that I get to eat. Yeah,
Nice.
I'm happy about it.
All right. Well, thanks for recording
All
this
right.
episode. I had a lot of fun.
You. Me too. I can't wait to hear the Mansplain Minute. I bet it's going to be a trip.
I know, and I can't wait to hear Francis yelling as he listens to things that we said wrong or that he has opinions on that no one can hear.
Yes. And I'm very happy that no one else can hear them.
Yes.
All right. Bye.
Bye.